Dangerous rocks, cold, sharp air, and deceptive glaciers lie ahead. Do you have what it takes to be the best mountaineer? Hey guys, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're reviewing the game Mountaineers. It's from designers Corey and Christy Wright.
It's a 1 to 6 player route building resource management game that takes about 90 minutes to play. Massif Games gave us a copy of the game, so let's bust it out and take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, lay out the mountain holder board and spinner, and based on player count, construct your 3 or 4-sided mountain.
Assemble the event deck, and then mark the conditions board by drawing from the leftover conditions card. This effect will remain until another condition card is revealed.
Deal 2 character cards and 6 climbing routes to each player and have them choose 1 character and 4 routes.
Give each player their board, pitons, carabiners, climbers, and supplies. Everyone will place their climber somewhere along the very bottom, and then you're ready to begin.
On their turn, players will first draw an event card and read the top portion aloud, which may affect all players. They will keep the card to use for later.
Then they may take 2 regular actions, like moving, purchasing upgrades, using upgrades, or resting to gain supplies.
They may also spend a card to take the additional action listed, and then they may use their character ability as well.
When a climber moves, it leaves a piton behind it, marking its path. A carabiner may be added to permanently claim the spot.
Purchasing upgrades like snowshoes, trekking poles, or helicopters are costly, and limited pitons must be used to purchase, but they offer great rewards if used wisely.
Players will work to climb the mountain, attempting to complete their goals. Once the event deck is depleted, the game ends. Players tally their points, and the player with the most points wins. Created by an avid mountain climber himself, Mountaineers is a game that tries to recreate some of the craziness of scaling a giant mountain. It does that by giving you some giant cardboard to play with. The game definitely has some serious table presence. It's also got quite a bit of strategy to it.
Yeah, and that strategy, while it was enjoyable for us, even though we like heavier games, we played with some gamers who are new to the hobby, and because they had played Ticket to Ride, it was easy for them to pick it up. It has enough immersion into mountain climbing itself that everything makes sense, yet you're just trying to build different routes on the board in the quickest and easiest way possible.
Right, drawing those cards at the beginning of the game and trying to find routes that overlap with each other and work together is definitely a huge part of gaining a lot of points at the end of the game. You've also got to consider how many supplies things are going to cost you and the limited number of pitons that you've got. And then one of the cool things that helps shake up the game are those conditions that change once in a while throughout the game, making things cost more, or maybe something that cost more before now is affordable. So you're going to be judging a lot of that. And then the whole like 3D spatial recognition of like, you're not just dealing with one side of the thing. You've got to get all the way around this mountain to be able to achieve those goals in most cases.
I think one way that this game is a step up from Ticket to Ride is the event cards. You draw an event card every turn, and sometimes it may or may not affect you, but it can affect other players. So it can have something like above this elevation, the atmosphere is a little heavier, so you may need to lose a supply, or you may gain a supply if you're at a bivouac shelter. And so those little things shake up the game quite a bit and make for a different experience each time you play.
I would say that there's just the right amount of overlap between players in this game. You can do the 4-sided mountain if you've got more players. You'll probably at some case or another, some point or another in the game, end up overlapping each other's, and you could be, I guess, more take-that-y with it if you wanted to. There is a sabotage action in the game as well, and sometimes you just moving one of their pitons could be enough to thwart their main point gathering at the end of the game.
Yeah, they do still gain half of the points for the
partially completed.
For the partially completed route, but using your carabiners in the right spots can be key to making sure that you get all the points that you need in the game.
The game does obviously take a little bit of time to set up. Those pitons, you're supposed to put them in number order as you go up the mountain in order to claim points, and that's a smidgen fiddly, but the components themselves are cool enough that it kind of makes it worth doing. You've got that little upgrade board as well where you're tracking everything. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game, but as she mentioned, it's got a great player aid that kind of helps you throughout the game, and it all makes pretty good sense whether you're an experienced climber or not. You kind of know what a carabiner is and what you're doing with things.
Yeah, if I had to say something negative would be some people have had a little difficulty constructing their mountain and making sure it stays together. This was a very ambitious Kickstarter project for our first time publisher, and I think for the most part it executed very well on the component side. There are some little tweaks that you can do to your board to make it a whole lot more stable, so you can check out some of those little hints on BGG to see how to maybe add a rubber band or two to make your board a whole lot more stable than what was given in the box.
If Mountaineers looks like something that you'd be interested in, then definitely make sure and check it out. And then thank you so much for subscribing and following along at Tantrum House.
And going to the different spots on the board, I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
Craziness of mountain climbing and exploration. I feel like I got a little leftover Moe's in there. Man, that was a good take.
I'm sorry. The whole table was just moving in the shot.
Because they're double-sided, hopefully that's true, they're double-sided. You can create multiple experiences and it's different every time.
Comes with 6 pieces that are double-sided.
6 double-sided pieces.